Question 3. To prepare for landing, a plane descends so that its altitude decreases at a constant rate from 24,500 feet to 17,900 feet in 12 minutes. Which of the following equation gives the altitude A in feet of the plane t minutes after it descends began? T minutes. Fine. So first of all, let's find the rate. So rate equals to, it's actually decreasing from where to where? 24,500 minus 17,900 in 12 minutes. So on solving this 24,500 minus 17,000, which is 6,600 divided by 12 minutes, that is equals to
550.
550 feet per minute you are going to get. So now what he said, to prepare for landing, a plane descends means decrease, I mean kind of decrease only, so that altitude decreases at a constant rate. At a constant rate of what? This information they given. That constant rate is what now? At constant rate 550 feet per minute. For 1 minute it's going to decrease 550 feet. So which option will be the suitable thing? And they said the plane in feet of the plane t minutes after it descends began 0 to 12, t value ranging from 0 to 2. We don't know how many minutes it's actually. We know for per 1 minute this is the thing. For t minutes that's going to be 550 feet 550 feet per minute into t. For t minutes we just multiply with t. So that's going to be what? 550 t. So which option is the answer here?
That is,
it's actually in the feet of 24500, right? So it's not going to be definitely option A and B. It's going to be option C and D, because it is in 24,500 feet and it started decreasing from there and then decreasing, so minus. And how much it is decreasing? 550. It is decreasing 550. Question number, when ordering a certain book in bulk, a school pays $17.20 for the first 80 copies. First 80 copies equals to $17.20. Fine. Discounted price for each additional copy, the total cost for 200 copies of the book is $3,700. For 200 copies, that is $3,700. They are giving, here I have to write one more point, additional discount after 80 copies. There is additional discount. Now we have to figure out which function f gives the total cost in dollars for x copies of the book, where x value is greater than or equals to 80. So here we are going to, just a second, do just like the way we did it the before one, just like getting the difference of cost, $3,700 minus $17.20 divided by 200 copies minus 80 copies. So this is equals to 3700 minus 1720, which is 1980 divided by 20, and then 198 divided by 12, which is $16.5 per copy. Got it? So what we did here, we try finding what is the cost of one copy. Got it? And don't immediately go for that option D, because first 80 copies is $1720 and the rest copies, x remaining copies, it is 16.50 what we got. No, if you go for that, that's a trap. They wantedly give that kind of option. Here, let me write an equation. So what are the remaining copies are now? First, remaining copies equals x minus 80. Why x minus 80? Because we don't know how many copies we are going to order. So just considering it as x. And then why this minus 80? Because for that 80 copies it is 1720. After 80 copies, they are getting additional discount. Got it? They are also said here. Which function f gives the total cost in dollars for x copies of the book? So that's why we are going for x copies of the book. In that x copies, we are removing 80 copies because for that we already have the price, which is 1720. Now, f of x, I'm just trying to write to match the option, f of x that equals to $1720, which is for 80 copies, top first row, that plus 16.5 into, I mean $16.5 into x minus 80 copies. It is x minus 80 copies, not the remaining one. I mean, just I'll tell you what I am trying to, just a minute. $1720 less $16.5x minus 80 into 16.5. That's 1320. So 1720, 1320. 1700 minus 1300, $400 plus $16.5x. That is f of x. So that's matching with what? $400, 400, option C. It's obviously not A and B because you can see 18.5, 18.5. That is not 18.5. We got here only 16.5 for each copy. And it's 400 or 1700. It is not 1720 because you see here why it is not 1720. We already calculating for 1720. For the rest it changes. It's not going to be that. I'll just show you a question. Wait. Example, I mean exercise 11.1, 11th question. I'll take you there. You see here also you thought it's option D, 3.50x plus 4.75, that equals 24, but it is not like that. Here it's same. We are taking x minus 1 mile. Why? Because here first mile is this much. We already calculated for the first mile, which is 4.75. If you multiply it with x here, if you go with 3.50x and 4.75, which means you are already calculated for the first mile. If you take x, that means you are again calculating for the first mile. So not to calculate for the first mile again, we are removing 1 mile here. That's why here it said you have int. There 10 miles is there, first mile is 4.75, and then you have to calculate for the rest 9 miles. You need not calculate for the 10 miles again. If you calculate for the 10 miles again, it 10 miles plus 1 mile, 11 miles you are calculating. That will be incorrect. In the same way here also, we calculated for the 80, we calculated for the 80 copies. So you have to subtract that 80 copies from the how many actual copies are there, and then you have to calculate. You will get the solution. Got it? Question number 14. Of the 200 jelly beans in a jar, let's draw a jar. So some 200 jelly beans are there in this. 200 jelly beans. 70% are green. Green equals to 70% of 200, that equals to 70 by 100, that into 200, 2 zeros cancel out, that equals to 140, 70 into 2. And rest red. So red jelly beans equals to,
that will be 60.
30% into 200, that equals to 30 by 100 into 200, 0, 0, 0, 0 cancel out, then it will be 60. How many green jelly beans must be removed so that 60% of the remaining jelly beans are green? See, usually students think in this way. How many green jelly beans must be removed so that 60% of the remaining jelly beans are green, which means in that they will remove 10%, which is equals to 20, and the final answer will be 60%. That's how they think. No, that's completely incorrect. So actually let's write how many green jelly beans must be removed so that 60% of the remaining jelly beans are green. So let me write it. So first of all, how many green jelly beans are there? Green
140
jelly beans equals to 140 of 200 are there. In that, what they are saying, you have to remove how many jelly beans must be removed so that 60% of the remaining jelly beans are green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove some number of jelly beans. So the fraction changes to 140 by 200. So you have to remove some number of jelly beans. We don't know how many number of jelly beans we are going to remove. You got it? Question is number of jelly beans removed equals to x. So we are removing that from here. If you do that in the numerator, it will be imbalanced. So to balance it, I'll remove it in the denominator also. Out of how many you are removing in the numerator, we are removing same in the denominator to balance it. So that's going to be this. Now what they said, then so that 60% of the remaining jelly beans are green. So from that, you're going to that equals to 60%. So what it's going to become, 140 minus x by 200 minus x, that equal to 60 by 100. So that's 60 by 10. 140 minus x by 200 minus x equal to 6 by 10. On cross multiplying, 10 into 140 minus x, that equals to 6 into 200 minus x. That's going to be 1400 minus 10x, 1200 minus 6x. So 1400 minus 1200, 10x minus 6x. Transpose variable terms to write RHS and constants to LHS. So that's going to be 200 equals 4x. So 4 times 1, 4 times 5, and then 0. X equals to 50. So the number of jelly beans removed equals to 50. It is something like this. If you are removing in this one, 140 are there. From the 140 are green, the rest are red. Here this is red, and this 140 are blue, or sorry, green. It is common sense that if you remove 50 from this, how many are there total? 200 are there, right?
Yeah.
This green, you subtracted x. If you are subtracting in green, it is only subtracting it in the green. It is subtracting in the green as well as in the total also. I'll repeat again with some other example. I'll tell you. It is, let's say this total is 200 are there. In that, you are removing 10. You are removing 10 green jelly beans. Just for example, you are removing 10 green jelly beans. What does it mean? Actually, green jelly beans are how many? 140. Now it will become how many? Actually, it is 140. Total are 200. Now, after removing 10, it will become 30. And how much total will become? Total 200. You remove 10 means it becomes 190, right? It's like this. 1 second. So when you remove green, you're not only removing the green, you're removing the total also. 140 minus 10, it will become 200 minus 10, it will become in the total. You're not removing only the portion. If you remove the portion, it affects the total amount of beans, jelly beans. That's why we have to do it in the denominator and numerator. I think it's super clear now.
Very clear. So detailed. You told me. Very good.
And then next